Hi there. Thank you so much for being with me on today. My name is Rita Carter, and I am the founder and CEO of Breakthrough. I am very passionate about helping people find their purpose, helping people live authentically, and then create thriving relationships along the way. I am a certified leadership development coach as well as a life and relationship coach. I've spent over 2 decades in corporate America leadership where I've glean the insights that are necessary and the tools that are necessary to be successful. But in order to be successful as a leader, you need to learn how to lead from within. You cannot be a successful leader unless you know how to build relationships and not just build them, be successful and have them sustained. And so, in order for you to do that, you need to know how to build relationships. You need to know who you are on the inside. And I am passionate about helping you get there. So I want to share with you a story that helped me learn to lead from within, that helped me along my journey. And so I want to share this with you, and I'm hoping that you can glean some insights, and that way you can learn to walk in your truth, learn to be authentic, learn your purpose, and create thriving relationships along the way and become unstoppable. Become unstoppable. So I want to share with you a little bit. So like I mentioned to you before, I have been in corporate America for over 2 decades. And I can share with you, I've had leadership experience in different divisions within a corporation, a particular corporation. And this was a Fortune 500 company. And so I decided, okay, well, I've graduated. I just received my master's. It's time to move on. But I didn't realize that I can actually grow from within the company that I was in. So I started to apply. And I applied to this one particular division of the company, of the organization, and it was very hard to get in. Once you get into this division, people retire in their roles, and there was really hard. The openings came, far few and in between. And so there was an opportunity, and I applied. And there was a panel interview, and I had multiple interviews, and there were people kept coming back saying, you're overqualified. You're overqualified. And I firmly believe that this is what God had called for me to do. I had multiple degrees. I had been successful. I had traveled with this company. So I said, this is what's next for me. And even if individuals felt that I was overqualified, at least I can get my foot in the door. Because it was hard, as I mentioned to you before, it was hard to get into this division. So in my mind, I just need to get my foot in the door. And so I applied multiple interviews and people kept coming back. You're overqualified. Are you sure you want this? You're overqualified. And I said, yes, this is what I want. And I got the job. And so I got the job and I'm in training. And many of you, you've been in training, you've been in multiple positions before. And it really takes like a good year to get your footing. Most positions, you can't just, start and a week later, you're good to go. 2 weeks later, you're good to go. You really need to become an expert, really become diligent in the knowledge that you're supposed to have in order to be successful in your role. And so I kind of started this position mid-year, and I was learning. I was training, and my leader was on me. She was riding me hard, and I didn't know why. I felt like I was doing everything the right way. I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to do, but yet and still, she was riding me. She was writing me up. She said I wasn't doing X, Y, Z. Remind you, I'm still in training, but yet and still, she was riding me. And so I finally got to the point where I felt defeated. How many of you have ever felt defeated? And so I was defeated. I felt like maybe made the wrong decision. This is not for me. I can't do this. I can't be successful and have someone riding me the way she was riding me. And so what I did was I went above her head and I asked if I could apply elsewhere. So this particular organization, you had to be within a position for a year before you can apply somewhere else unless you had executive leadership approval. And so they kind of questioned me and interviewed me as to why did I feel, that she was showing favoritism or she was kind of picking on me for something in particular. And so they granted me my request, which was to start applying. So not only did I start applying internally, I was applying externally. I was ready to go. Have you ever just had that urge, like, I have to get out of here? And so I was interviewing. Now, remind you, I have a master's degree. I've been with this firm for seven, I want to say 8 years by now, maybe even almost approaching 9 years. And I knew I was qualified. So I was interviewing, I was applying, and I was interviewing, remind you, internally as well as externally. Let me tell you, not one offer. Not one offer. And I couldn't understand why. And I was like, Lord, listen, you have blessed me. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And so I couldn't understand. I kept applying, I kept interviewing, I kept applying, I kept interviewing, and I couldn't figure out why not one offer. And so I cried and I cried. Remind you, I'm at this point where I'm hating my job at this point, hating it. And I said, well, Lord, you brought me into this division. You gave me this opportunity. Why am I not getting an offer elsewhere? I hate my job. My leader doesn't like me. What is the deal? And clear as day, the Lord said, I didn't ask you to move. That was it. The Lord said, I didn't ask you to move. So here I am, driving myself crazy, applying every single day, interviews 2 and 3 times a week, internally, externally, not getting an offer. I was defeated. And Lord just said simply, I didn't ask you to move. And so when I heard that very clearly, I said, okay, God, I lost sight of my purpose. I realized I lost sight of my purpose. And so what I did was I stopped applying. I stopped interviewing and I said, okay, God, I can't get in front of you. I need you to lead. And so I lost my purpose. I forgot about my purpose. I forgot what I was supposed to be doing. My focus, my goal was to excel in my current role. So then after God spoke to me, I just put my head down. I was working so hard, and I don't care how many times she pulled me in her office. She was writing me almost every day, 2 and 3 times a day, what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. I'm not successful here. This is wrong. This is not right. I just put my head down. Put my head down. I'm praying. I'm crying. I'm praying. I'm crying. Lord, deliver me. Lord, deliver me. And so, not even 90 days later, her position becomes available. She was actually severed for a number of reasons. And I think my escalating was actually the straw that broke the camel's back, per se. And so her position was open. Her position was being interviewed. Leaders were interviewing to replace her role. And all I'm hearing in the office of, oh, this person, she will be good. Oh, he will be good. Oh, he's been here so many years. Now, remind you, I've been with the organization about 9 years, but I've only been with this particular division, this department for what? I don't know, a year and a half maybe. So there was no way, even though I wanted to grow, there was no way I thought that I was capable of getting her job. And I'm hearing all of these recommendations and who would be great at this and who would do this and who would do that. And so I didn't apply. I put my head down. I was focused. Excel where you are. Now remind you, when I put my head down, my clients were successful. They were happy. They wanted me. I want her on my account. She was doing this, she was doing that. Like I was getting kudos and recognitions. And I just put my head down and stayed focused, being obedient. Because remind you, I wasn't obedient in the beginning. I was doing my thing, applying elsewhere when God didn't tell me to apply. So here we are, 9 years into the organization, but maybe about a year and a half within this particular position that I was in. People are interviewing, people are applying. And so I got a phone call, and it was my boss's boss, so higher up. And she said, why haven't you applied for my job yet? And I'm sorry. What job is that? Well, it's the job that I'm replacing for your previous leader. Why haven't you applied? And I said, well, I'm sorry. I've only been in this role a year and a half, this division. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. Yes, I have leadership experience, but it was from a previous division. So I'm kind of just in the learning space. And so she says, I don't hire based off tenure. I hire based off capability. So if you want this job, it's yours. And I said, I'm sorry. I couldn't even fathom what she was saying. And I said, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? And she says, I don't hire off of tenure. I don't care that you haven't been here 20, 30, 40 years. I don't care that you don't have this longevity, this long resume that others have that are applying for this job. Do you want the job? And I said, "Oh my goodness, Lord, what is this?" And I said, "Well, can I take this away and can I pray on it?" And she said, "Absolutely, but don't wait too long because my interviews are done. I was expecting to interview you." And I said, "Okay." So went home the end of the day, talked to my husband, prayed about it. I'm crying like, "Lord, do I do this? Am I ready for this?" And so God blew my mind. And he said, "This is it. Go for it. This is it. This is why I asked you not to leave a year ago because I have a plan for you." And so I called the leader the next day and I said, "I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take the position." And so she says, "Okay, we got some logistics. So I still need you to officially send over your resume. We're going to do a formal interview. So that way everything is fair and consistent." And we dotted our I's and crossed the T's. So I interviewed another panel discussion. And lo and behold, I officially got an offer. And I'm from Michigan. So if you're from Michigan, not only did I get her job, which was to cover the Ann Arbor area, but I got the Detroit area too. So I got all of Southeast Michigan and I was able to move my office to downtown Detroit. So I said all that to say you have to know your purpose and you have to keep that in the forefront and not allow for individuals to place you in this box and put limitations on you. Because when they place you in that box and they put limitations on you, you forget the whole reason why God has called you to that place. I completely forgot about my purpose, about what I was called to do. I was called to lead. I was called to make change. And I'm so thankful that God allowed that leader, the leader who actually extended the offer to me, to see the leader in me. Because remember, I felt defeated. And so I wouldn't apply. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I wasn't capable. But God would allow people to be in your presence to see what He has inside of you, even if you don't see it. So, needless to say, I got the promotion amongst everyone else. And there were some amazing candidates. Like I said, 20, 30 years experience, been with the company forever, knew the ins and outs, individuals who had trained me. But I got the opportunity. And so I needed to reflect and circle back and remember my purpose. So that way I can be authentic and walk with authenticity. And so I started my role and people kind of looked at me funny. I remember that I had one particular direct report reporting to me, and she had the nerve to ask me, "How old are you? You may be young enough to be my daughter." And I said, "I'm young enough to get the job done. I'm old enough to get the job done." And so others, the leaders, felt that I was capable of getting the job done. So I wanted to share that story with you to let you know that you have to know your purpose and don't let it fall by the wayside. And sometimes life can happen. Life can happen to, it can become a distraction and you lose focus and you lose sight on the goal at hand. You lose sight on your purpose. And I am here to tell you to become unstoppable. The first step is to know your purpose. And you can't know your purpose until who you know you belong to. So I knew who I belonged to. I knew who my creator was. I knew where I got my strength from. I knew where I got my passion from because I'm a servant leader and I'm here to serve. But I kind of let life and others, people just put me in that box that I talked about. So once I kind of wheeled things back in and realized my purpose and got back on track, I was able to walk in my purpose. I was able to be authentic. I was able to let God use me to make a difference. And so it's being authentic, it's walking in your purpose, knowing your purpose in order to walk in it, and then being resilient. That's number three. Being resilient because there are going to be times where you just want to be knocked down, laid out. I'm done. Remember, I was defeated. I was defeated. This lady was riding me like never before. So after the fact, people were telling me that she felt intimidated by me. Not because I didn't know my place, because I knew my place. I respect authority. I respect leadership. I knew my place. But I guess because I had degrees and I had some things in my background that she felt intimidated. But that's her business. She needs to work that out. I couldn't carry that load. And so I was grateful that God had placed individuals in my life to be able to see the leader in me before I saw it in myself. And once I was able to realize that I am walking in my purpose, I know my purpose. I know who I belong to. I know who's leading the way. I am authentic and I'm resilient because despite being defeated and feeling defeated, despite not getting an offer internally as well as externally, I stood my ground. I put my head down and I let my work speak for itself. I was getting accolades everywhere. I was getting people, clients was requesting for me to take their portfolio. I was letting my work speak for itself. And not only did he give me her job, he God allowed my my territory to expand. So he blew my mind. The word says that your thoughts are not my thoughts, your ways are not my ways. And he proven that over and over again to me. So this is what I want to say to you out of that story. I hope that you can resonate with it. But you have to know your purpose. In order to walk in your purpose, you have to know your purpose. And then once you know your purpose and being able to walk in it, you can be authentic. You can be carefree because you know what you stand on, you know what you believe in, you know the reason why you do what you do. You are letting God lead the way because you're authentic. And it comes from the inside, leading from the inside. And then lastly, being resilient because when you walk in your purpose and you're authentic, the enemy is going to continue to come against you and try to knock you down every time. So you have to stand firm. You have to stand firm. So those three things are the first three steps to becoming unstoppable. Become unstoppable. Know who you are. Know who you believe in. Become authentic. Be resilient, and you will become unstoppable. So I hope that blessed you on today. And if you would like some guidance on how to become unstoppable, if you would like a listening ear to someone that can guide you along the way, maybe you feel stuck, maybe you feel stagnant, not just professionally, but personally. You just kind of feel like you need to find your way. I am here for you. Please feel free to reach out to me at www.breakthroughready.com if you are ready to become unstoppable and break through. You can also reach me on all social media channels at Breakthrough with Rita. Feel free to reach out to me. I promise you, you will feel and know the difference when you find your purpose, when you become authentic, and when you're resilient along the way, not letting nothing or no one stop you. Become unstoppable. get through your breakthrough. And I'm here along the way to help you. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope that you were able to take away some things. You have an amazing day, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.